Hi, it's Alaska Granny. I wanted to share with you some ideas today of no-cook survival foods. Foods that are easy to pick up at the grocery store and can easily be an important part, a foundation even, in your prepper pantry, in your food storage stockpile. These are all nothing that needs to be cooked, everything must just tear open and eat. They're simple foods that I have in my stockpile, so I thought I'd share the ideas with you and see if there are any items that maybe you want to add to your stockpile. Now remember, the foods that belong in your stockpile are the foods that you enjoy eating, that you're willing to eat. So if these aren't things you want, don't get them. And if you go to the store and you see things you would rather eat, pick those up instead. They're not in any particular order. I just am going to work through my little stash and show you what I have. Start with some canned foods that are already prepared, what would be considered a meal, that you can either pop up in the top or open it with a can opener, and then you could even just eat it out of the can if you needed to. There are all types of canned foods that would fit into this category, everything from ravioli, beefaroni, corned beef hash, baked beans, chunky soups, different kinds of chilies, and here's even a can of red beans and rice. Maybe you like chicken and dumplings, or there's other things that you enjoy. Look over the things that they have in the store, choose a few that you like. If you see one you've never tried, do what I do. I buy one and take it home and try it, and if I like it, I go back and get more. And what is apparent these days is how much more expensive these foods are than they were even 1 or 2 years ago. I was surprised how the prices are shooting up. But foods are still available. They're just going to cost us a little more dearly. But you have to imagine then, if they're going to cost more now, what are they going to be in the future? Wouldn't you rather stock up on some $1 cans of food so that in the future, if it shoots up to $2, you still have it at the price that you paid for $1, and it can still continue to feed you and your family. You can also look for things like the Hormel Completes that come in a little dish, or the little pouch meals that come that you can just heat them in the microwave. I don't like to store as many of these as canned foods because the pouches, while they're sturdy, they're not as sturdy as a can, so they're not going to last as long. These are great though if you want to pop them into your bug out bag. I'll put a link to one of the videos I made about making your own DIY MREs out of these simple pouch and packet meals that are just so simple to open and eat. A lot of them are pretty tasty, but they're getting to be very much more expensive than they used to be. Look at the canned fruits and vegetables that you like. Those are great to have in your stockpile. They're a great survival food to pop them open and eat them, but it's not as enjoyable to eat, say, just a can of green beans compared to eating maybe a can of chili or something like that that's a whole meal. But it's certainly something you would enjoy having if there wasn't anything else available in your pantry. Canned meats are great to have in your prepper pantry, but it's not often that we want to pop open and eat an entire can of meat. So you might want to consider having different sizes of meats in case it is something that you want to have just as a survival food, something you could open and eat right out of the can. An option instead of a can of meat is to look for the little pouches. You can find tuna, chicken, Spam, salmon, lots of these. You can even find little packets. I know I found some at the Dollar Tree that were little boxes that had a can of chicken or tuna salad and a little packet of crackers. They were only $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, and they are pretty darn delicious. Well, I was looking for them now that I'm back in Alaska, and they're like $3 and $4 each for that same little item, which that's pretty dear. I don't really want to spend that kind of money on such a little tiny, almost a snack of a meal. So if you can find them at a reasonable price, make sure that you stock up if you like them. Maybe you like nuts. Pick up a package or two of nuts because these will last a long time in your prepper pantry. But remember, nuts have lots of oils in them, natural oils, and they do go rancid. So don't think that you can store nuts long past the date on them. It's just not possible because food just spoils. It gets old. The things deteriorate. And so that's just something that you need to pick up, things like nuts that you like to eat and then that you want to rotate them. And boy, nuts are going up in price as well. So don't buy more than you can reasonably eat, rotate, and replace before they would become spoiled. If you like things like jerky, summer sausage, pick up some of those. They don't need to be in the refrigerator. You can tear open and eat them, and they're handy to have for a shelf-stable, grab-and-go survival type of a meat. I think I would rather eat some kind of a sausage that I could just slice it off rather than open a can and start to eat it. Another way to think about having things like sausages and jerkies is if you're going on a hike or out for the day. You could pack up a little picnic bag with some sausages, some crackers, maybe a few slices of cheese, and a few beverages, and you could put them together. You can rotate them by taking them out and having them for a picnic, and then you have rotated these foods so that you're able to replace them, so they don't need to just languish in the back of your pantry until they become spoiled and not any good to eat, because they're not going to last forever. You should be buying foods that you're willing to eat, rotate, and replace. Think about some of the cans of dips, like the Frito bean dip. This is pretty good. There's also some jars of cheesy dips, and those are nice to have because if you have some crackers, you can open these up and eat them. It's not something you want to just open if that's all you have and eat it with a spoon, but it might be preferable to having nothing to eat at all. But they would be great to have with some of your no-cook survival foods for a quick and easy meal. Think about peanut butter, and if you have nut allergies, maybe you want to look for the hazelnut spread or almond butters, something that you would enjoy eating that suits your preferences and your dietary needs. Think about the different options that are available. Granola bars are great. You can buy all kinds of protein bars, energy bars, Pop-Tarts. There's all different kinds of these grab and go that are delicious. Some of them not so much, but a lot of them have nutrition in them. Some of them are more just like a cookie snack. Look over the ones that you like, but don't buy more than you can rotate in, say, 2 years. Some of them will last like a year past the date on them, but not always. It depends what they're made out of. Find ones that you like and add them into your no-cooking survival food stockpile. I never want to forget my little dog Teddy, and while he likes to snack on the same things I do, I also have a fresh package of little treats for him so that he can have snacks along the way too. Your pets give you unconditional love. It's up to you to provide their necessities, so please make a plan for that with your survival stockpile. It's also great to have a variety of dried foods. I particularly like the Walmart bananas. It's hard to find fresh bananas when you live in a place like Alaska. They just aren't very fresh. They aren't tasty, but I like the Walmart brand dried bananas, and I buy them regularly, and I have them frequently, so I keep a nice stockpile of those. They last a long time. They're really delicious, and it might be something you want to try too. Think about some of the other kinds of dried fruits also, everything from craisins, raisins, mangoes, pineapples. There's a whole variety. Look over the ones that appeal to you. They definitely have a varying price point. But if you can find some that you like and you find them at a good price, stock up because they're going to last for quite a few years. Granolas and trail mixes are a great way to have quick-to-go energy in your no-cook survival foods. You can find some that have just grains, some that have fruits, some that have nuts, and even some that have little like M&Ms and marshmallows and things in them. But be careful because with every additional ingredient, some of those things might melt, for example, chocolate chips. Some of them might go rancid like the nuts. And so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the date on them because the more things that are mixed into them, the sooner things might become spoiled or rancid, which then would contaminate the entire package. So just like other foods, don't buy more than you can eat in a reasonable amount of time. Now you know what's going to go great with a lot of these foods? The Alaska staple, pilot bread. They're like big, hard crackers and they're unsalted. We love these in Alaska, and you can find them other places too. I always know I've come back home after a trip away when I go to the store and I see a big aisle of pilot bread. So of course I always stock up. They have gone up dramatically in price. I was shocked that they were nearly $7 a box. But guess what? They're going to last a long time and they're pretty good. I made a video before on all the different ways you can serve pilot bread and the toppings you can put on them. So I'll put a link to that video in case you're interested on what can go with pilot bread. Find other crackers that you like. Saltines, Triscuits, that's what I like, so that's what I have. The saltines are going to last quite a lot longer than, say, the Triscuits, but these are my favorite, so I don't usually have a problem eating them up before they go out of date and become stale. But just like other foods, don't buy more than you can reasonably use and rotate before they become stale or rancid. So instead of buying like 50 boxes of crackers, buy say 2 or 3, and the next time you go to the store, buy 2 or 3 more, so that you're rotating them. You're putting a fresh supply. Then when you get to your pantry, you push the older ones to the front of the shelf and add some newer ones that you bought behind those. First in, first out, just like they do at the grocery store. And once you figure out how many you might want to have for 3 months, 6 months, or even a year, then don't go overboard on that kind of an item, because you don't want to end up having it spoil and then your grocery dollars are wasted and your food is no longer good to eat. On my way to the grocery store, I saw a guy walking along holding a box of Fruit Loops, and he was just snacking away as he walked down the street, and I thought, oh, that's right. I want to buy a box of cereal that I like to snack on. It doesn't have to go in a bowl with milk. Find cereal that you think is enjoyable as a snack. So for me, it was Honey Nut Cheerios, and this was less than $2, so there's a lot of servings of snacks in here that would be great for a no-cook survival food. And something I recently tried, thanks to my daughter, are the protein shakes. I never thought I wanted to eat anything like this, but my daughter sent some to me, and there were times when I was feeling sad when my love of my life passed away, and so it was easy to just grab one of these and keep my nutrition going rather than get up and try to prepare something to eat. So guess what? These are actually pretty delicious. I got the caramel flavor and I kind of like them. You just put them in the refrigerator and they're going to last for quite a long time. Then if you need something to eat, you can just pop it open and drink it. They fill you up, they have a lot of good nutrition in them, and they keep you filled up and full for quite a number of hours. And you don't have to put them in the refrigerator. They probably taste better cold, but if you can't keep things refrigerated because, say, you're going camping or you're bugging out or your power goes out, you'll still be able to keep these and you'll be able to have something to eat that's nutritious and doesn't require any cooking. I nearly forgot the rice cakes. I found these white cheddar rice cakes a few years ago, and they're actually pretty tasty. Rice cakes used to be the ones that were just rice. It was like eating a piece of cardboard, but these white cheddar are actually pretty tasty. And they don't have very many calories, so you can eat a lot of them if you're worried about your weight, but they also are something that can last for quite a long time. They just don't seem to get stale. They're double wrapped. They're crunchy and tasty, and they might just hit the spot. But make sure you have a beverage to go with it, simply because rice cakes are a little bit on the dry side, and you don't want to have your mouth all just dry from just eating a rice cake. So these are some food items I wanted to share with you that are no-cook survival foods. So be thinking about that, because nobody knows what's coming, and there are always challenges. My power was out for 8 hours the other day, but guess what? I could pop open anything, open some crackers, have a sausage, eat some dried fruit, whatever. You're always going to be okay if you have a variety. And then guess what? You just roll with it. You roll with the flow. Every day of life is a challenge. Some are more challenging than others, but we are prepping for lifestyle insurance so that we can make the best of every single day, keep our lives running as smoothly as possible. And guess what? With a nice supply and a positive attitude, you'll be able to achieve that no matter what challenges come your way. If you enjoyed my video, I hope you'll share it with someone else you think might like it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.